So welcome back to me, welcome back to Thailand, True Blue Thai here in Thailand. I hope you're doing well. It's one and Khan Tuesday in Thailand. Another cloudy day. We had a bit of rain last night. It certainly woke me up, for instance, when it arrived. And so it's another cloudy day. Another day, it's a great day to go running, but unfortunately I can't because of my calf injury, and it's driving me mad. The fallout from the Manchester City versus Newton Heath 3-0 victory on Sunday has gone into fever pitch about United and Amarin and the system and all this blah 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 and everything. And I just think, you know, it just kind of like, you know, the problems at United are very, very clear and very to every person other than United fans. And so for instance, it's just when I listen to United fans, I was listening to Sports Bar this morning, etc. For instance, so Jason Cundy, and there was United fans talking, and honestly, for instance, it's like, you know, I worry about the education system in the United Kingdom if that is the case. You know, for instance, if they're talking this way, you know, and I just find the arguments and you know, and there was one guy supposed to be standing up for Amarin, and he was talking about how the fact that Amarin you know, needs to give him time, and he's tired of all the people slagging off Amarin and la 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 la. And then he says, I've set up a website. So they asked him about his website, and he went on his website and he says, should we fire Amarin? It's like, one minute you're supposed to support him, the next minute you're slagging him off, you know, and I just find, when I was listening in the transfer window, and United were buying him, good player, right, and the other guy, and we're getting this guy Sesko, etc., which was again another Haaland, another poor record, another mediocre player, for instance, from the Bundesliga, and you know, and I was thinking, my Christ, you're getting this guy, you know, and what are you looking at? It's all about potential. Oh, it could be, and United are getting. Why did they get Sesko? It was just pointless. So they needed a striker to replace Højlund, etc., who's now scored in his very first game against where he's playing. And when the United players leave United, they always go out and, you know, start, you know, in playing very well. And I just can't understand what the transfer policy, United's transfer policy to say City fans would be the fact that you need a goalkeeper, a proper one, not a project goalkeeper. You know, we got James Trafford to replace Edison or, you know, Ortega or whatever, but even though Ortega's still with us, it's the fact that, you know, and then but we got him for the future. You know, we got this future guy, you know, but also, for instance, we also needed a guy, for instance, of experience, because we lost Edison, and Edison, Trafford was always going to be number 2 to Edison for a year anyway, because he's just coming in. His first season for Burnley, Trafford was not very good. So, for instance, now you need it needs to go with an experienced goalkeeper. Now we've got Donnarumma, and when Donnarumma came available, my Christ, why not go for him? You know, and I think it was ludicrous not to go for it, and all this nonsense about, oh well, it's unfair on Trafford. Well, I'm sorry, I just don't find where you're coming from. I just find people who say things like that are just totally deluded. You know, Trafford will be the future goalkeeper. There will be, and he's at the better place. I think he would rather be at Man City than, be at Burnley. Okay, maybe Newcastle, probably. But, you know, and is a Man City fan. You know, and again, you know, you've got to look at the big picture. You know, he's only young. You know, for instance, a goalkeeper doesn't mature until his late 20s. You know, so he's still got plenty of time to be Man City's number 1. But at the moment, etc., we need, at the moment, Man City, and any person who knows Man City, and I mean, we'll talk about United, we just diverted on Man City, any person who knows Man City, one of our biggest issues right now is defence. And we needed a proper a proper solid defence. And the fact that, you know, we conceded ridiculous goals. And right now we need a shot stopper, and we need a proven shot stopper. And the save by Donnarumma from the Bombero shot came at a massive crucial time at the time of the game, because if they would have scored, the Rags would have scored, that would have been 2-1, and then it would have probably left a bit of vulnerability. Maybe the guys will feel like got a chance to get a goal and get a draw, that kind of thing. And so the you know what we're like City when we concede a goal. So when that save was saved by Donnarumma, the reaction from the City players, the fist pumping, the chest slapping, Donnarumma, not to say well done mate, it was a fantastic save. It was like damn, and that was a massive save at a very important time where United had a lot of control of the ball. And again, for instance, and it was just it was such an important game. That was a match-winning save. You cannot underestimate that save and how important that save was. So for what Donnarumma made, but for instance, and then of course we got Haaland goes off and scores the third goal, and and all I've seen on Facebook and social media is United fans and fans from other clubs saying, how the hell can the Haaland, the VAR miss the Haaland goal because it was offside? And they're posting little lines and saying that Haaland was way offside. He's in his own area. You can't be offside from being in your own area when he received the ball. And it's just ridiculous, and to say that, why the fact that these United fans, again, I think they're the most deranged fans in the world. You gotta be to support United anyway. But to sit there and say, to post on social media pictures of it and line saying, well, look at this, and Haaland was clearly offside. He was in his own area. So, for instance, and it's just ridiculous. To say that, for instance, he was offside. So it's clear like they don't know the game, and it's United insisting pushing up in their back three nonsense, etc. Allows space for a Haaland, etc. And Bernardo Silva just saw a Haaland, just played the ball, and he ran from his own area into the United area and picked up the ball and scored the goal to make it 3-0. And because of the Donnarumma save, etc. 3-0, boom, City happy. Game done and dusted. United fans all the way back to London to get the early train, and and happy days. And City sit here 3-0 winners, and it could have been more if Reijnders would have scored, etc. But just going back to United, what is clear is the fact that they needed a proper goal a keeper. They was never going to get Donnarumma. Donnarumma was not going to go to Man United. I know it's United, we're the biggest club in the world, crap. But it also Donnarumma was saying, you've got no Champions League, you've got no Europa League, you're not in Europe, full stop, you're a crappy team, why would I go to United? I'm sorry, Donnarumma would not go to United. Why would he swap PSG to go to United, right? Unless they're going to pay him £600,000 a week or something like that, something ridiculous, right? So to sit there and I've seen it on Mark Ogden talking on ESPN, it was all about the money, I'm sorry, I just think regardless, even if PSG accepted United's money, I don't think he would go, because why would you go to United in such a way? And again, for instance, I know it's United, the biggest club in the world, but it means nothing, because in each passing season it means nothing. I know United are a big club, blah blah blah. It meant nothing to me in 1974 when I was sat there having a chat with my father about it in 1974. And it doesn't mean anything. It means less and less out there. And there was a piece in the internet today on City Extra, and they were talking about how Man City's changed now the landscape of rain again. How Man City have actually has taken over of financial power, the money power, how much Man City are like a second on the Deloitte money list, etc. after Real Madrid, for the amount of money when. And again, for instance, if you talk about if you're in, I live in Southeast Asia. This is Thailand. The big you see brands on television, mark brands. For instance, you see Big Cola, which is now sponsoring Man City. Big Cola, maybe not big in the UK, but they're not even heard of, but they're very big in Scandinavia, Southeast Asia, and for instance, they're of course rivals to Coca-Cola, etc., and Pepsi-Cola, but they're and they've signed a deal with Manchester City, next on tyres in Southeast Asia, Manchester City. You've got there's a washing shampoo commercial, Erlin Haaland. You know, and what you see. I think you're seeing a Chelsea player as well, but I think they do Chelsea as well. But you don't see anything United. You very rarely see a commercial on television, on Thai television, or what's it called, on United. You don't. You know, honestly. So, for instance, all this, again, for instance, who's their star man? Fernandes? You know, who wants to see a rat face? But you just don't see it anymore. And United is slowly. So I'm not saying they don't have any fans. What's it called? Because they do, clearly do. What's it called? They've got very delusional fans who don't know much about the rules of football. But they're not as, you know, as where they were. So they're coming further and further down. And they're certainly less and less in Scandinavia, in South. Sorry, I can't say Scandinavia. I lived in Scandinavia for 10 years. What's it called? But sorry, that's the reason why I'm saying Scandinavia. But in Southeast Asia, they're not massive at all. You know, and they really ain't. You know, what's it called? You will see United tops on. What's it called? But again, I've spoken to seen a few people wearing United tops. Okay, and the odd City top, etc. For instance, I've said the same thing, and so I said, United fan, United fan, and they were like, what? And they didn't even know they had a United top on, and they did it for work. They were going to work, etc. You know, because again, it's 30 degrees, so they have a T-shirt on. So, for instance, they didn't even know. Also, red is a very popular colour in Southeast Asia. So, you know, a lot of them have that, not because it's United. Not because they're United fans, it's because they had a T-shirt on, which is, but they didn't know what it was. You know, I tell you, I've seen the odd guy with a City fan, and I said, "Are you a City fan?" He went, "No." His daughter bought him the T-shirt because she's a City fan. So you know, so it does happen the opposite way around, you know. But again, for instance, what I'm trying to stress is the fact that the pulling power of United is not as big as what United fans in England think they are, and the mainstream media, like when I listen to Crookie and Goldstein and all this kind of crap, etc. For instance, and idiots. For instance, talking about United as the speakers club in the world, they're becoming less and less influential. They're becoming less and less important to the world. You know, like into the real world of football. You know, if you're a kid growing up and you want to support an English Premier League team, who would you go for? You know, you go for Liverpool, you go for City. You certainly wouldn't go for United. Why would you want to go for United, especially this season? You know, and you want a team who wins things, don't you? You want to support. That's the reason why Man City's growth in, for instance, in South America and North America has grown so much. So because a lot of people want to come to Man City over United. But it's an interesting article. But no, and also United's midfield. You know, why the hell didn't he not buy a midfielder? You know, for instance, they got 2 number 10s, which is crazy. They've already had Bruno, who's a number 10. So why didn't they buy a defensive midfielder? You know, I mean, if you're going to put or somebody, for instance, who's got legs in the midfield, why did they not focus on midfield, defence, and goalkeeping? All right. It's all right spending all this money on blah 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 and getting them Bumberma and spending great ridiculous money, but you're not focusing on what you need to focus on. And now I could criticise Man City's transfer policy because we didn't get a right back. Okay, but you know, we've got Kuznetsov in there now, for instance, happy days. So, but again, it's something we've had to adapt to. Why didn't we get a right back? And why is nobody when they're doing the press conferences to Pep? Why is nobody asking Pep this question? Why did you not get a right back? You know, and for instance, asking stupid little questions about who's the best striker between Isak and Haaland. Stupid question. And ask Pep a question. If I was there, I'd be, Pep, why do you not buy Man City buy a right back? Okay, all right. Why do we not show up defence? Knowing that we have an issue with defence. Midfield, striking, options, left wing, right, wingers, etc. We're perfect for. We need more strength in our defence. Still divine on Biscuits John Stones and Reijnders, who's his second injury in his footballing career at Man City. He's going to be out for a lot longer than a couple of weeks now. Could be sort of 5 weeks now. Reijnders out. We finally got a left back, etc. And he's out for a good 5 weeks. Okay, again, it's one of those things, etc. But why did it happen to Man City? Blah 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 blah, you know. But overall, you know, I don't understand. You know, but when I look at United's issues, okay, I can see they're okay, kind of okay up front. I would say, okay, we're getting these transfer, but the middle of the park in defence and the goalkeeper, and I just don't understand. you know, and they're talking about the systems, you know, but they don't have the players. They don't have the players to get the play in the system. They certainly didn't focus on getting new players to bring in the system or buying players to strengthening up the midfield. They're still relying on Casemiro, etc. You know, and again, you know, why the? But when I was listening to United all the way through the transfer, and they were, oh, we're going to get this guy, we're going to do this, we're going to finish 5 because we've got Mbeumo in, we've got this guy in, we've got this guy Cunha in, blah blah blah. And I was thinking, well, you have not addressed what you need to address. And now you're talking about, you know, oh, it's Amarin's system. Well, Amarin also is right to say that, for instance, they've tried the 3-4-3 and it hasn't worked. Crystal Palace plays the 3 at the back, etc. But okay, United haven't addressed. But why didn't Amarin press for more players who can play the 3-4-3 defensive, you know, system and midfield? So Amarin's got to take a nail on that one, because why do you not try and get the players for midfielder defenders? So, you know, that's what I don't understand. So yeah, so United's problems are obvious. They really are. And I think the problems with United is that they are so focused on being United, being the biggest club in the world. We're the best. Whatever. They haven't grasped reality, and they forget. They think this biggest club in the world situation is massive. It's important, and it means jack shit. It really does. And any person who tried to, again, my father explained to me in 1974 when I was on training Piccadilly Station, etc. Why he wanted me to support City over United. Okay, and even though I couldn't stand my father, me and my father had massive issues. I was determined to support United until I saw the light. But he was absolutely bang on, you know. And United playing on this biggest club in the world crap, etc. It just means nothing. It really doesn't. And it's just showing you now, for instance, and now they're kind of like they're a quick fix club. They really are. They're a club that expects to be, you know, into a quick fix, and nothing's a quick fix. You know, you got to be careful. Let's move on to City. Erlin Haaland now has 150 goals appearances. 150 goals contribution, 129 goals, 21 assists, 81.7 minutes goal contribution, 6 trophies, 37 individual awards. Amazing. Murphy, Liz Murphy, by the way, WSL, Man City, WSL. She had an operation yesterday. So wish her the speedy recovery. But apart from that, again, for instance, what really wasn't much to talk about. Apart from, I've done my review of the players, my player review, and I put it on the my thumbnail, etc. And so on. So, but as far as news is concerned, I think the only real news about Mark Gahey, which is, I think City were interesting signing Mark Gahey. It's gone back again. There you go. City were interested in signing Mark Gahey. For the future. He was heavily linked with Liverpool. They did not get him, etc. But so we're. But that's the thing. The article in City Extra regarding the City, how Man City have leapfrogged Man United to become the commercial powerhouse, and it's a really interesting read. It really is. Mike Gahey. Hope we can get him. Great defender. But we'll see. And TV will be allowed. So, yep. Great. But other than that, not really much to say. I just sat there enjoying. I'm just relaxing. I was hyper yesterday. I'm more relaxed today. So, for instance, we got a build up to the Champions League with Napoli coming along. On Thursday, very unfortunate we're playing Thursday. To me, it'll be a Friday morning, watching the game 8 o'clock in the morning, 2 a.m. in the morning. But so return of Kevin De Bruyne, seeing some of the players playing yesterday. They had a bit of I thought they were warming down, but having a bit of a game yesterday, so look happy, and we'll see. Anyway, guys, gonna love you and leave you. True Blue Time from Thailand. Like and subscribe. Tell me what you're thinking about everything really. everything. About United and why are they so obsessed with call themselves the biggest club in the world. What do you think that means? Because it means jack shit to me. It really doesn't. and their problems are just going to mount. They just got to go from next to next to next to next. Nathan Mount was a massive issue. I said Nathan Mount would be a massive issue with them not having him in. He would have given him more stability in midfield, but so that him being injured was a massive one for him, and especially the way Tiana Reijnders and Rodri played. We didn't play the best. I know we got Tiana Reijnders got a 4 from LB. So, but anyway, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. True Blue Time from Thailand. Like and subscribe. I'll speak to you tomorrow, and let's see what we can talk about tomorrow.